Hello, Ster. I'm Dr. Brett J. Kagan, the Chief Scientific Officer at Cortical Labs, which is a small startup based in Melbourne, Australia, and we're working on trying to elicit the intelligence from brain cells by combining them with silicon computing.
Hello, Ster. I'm Anders Sandberg. I'm Senior Research Fellow at the Future Humanity Institute at Oxford University. And my research is about the far future, what we can say about emerging technologies and risks threatening all of humanity, and also how to reason well about such highly uncertain things.
What are some drastic technological progressions that you anticipate in the next decade?
The obvious thing that is going on right now is artificial intelligence. Even if all the clever AI developers decided to take a holiday for 10 years, we would still be having a deluge of applications from the AI systems we already have. Machine learning is already paying for its keep, and we're slowly figuring out where generative AI can take us. This is enormously hard to predict how far it can go in 10 years, but I think every year another job we thought was secure and regular suddenly finds itself perhaps replaced or perhaps transformed by automation. And we are not going to be able to predict that very well. Meanwhile, there are many other technologies that are happening at the same time that are almost as profound. Biotechnology is advancing in leaps and bounds, partially because of new tools like CRISPR and DNA editing, partially because we have big data and machine learning to help us design things, partially because we're seeing more and more investment into various forms of enhancement, life extension, and healthcare in general. But there are other technologies waiting in the wings that might be a surprise. Nanotechnology is something that we mostly associate with the 1990s. People have kind of forgotten about it. But it turns out that protein engineering, wedded to biotechnology, is advancing very rapidly, powered by AI. And there are many protein engineers thinking that maybe we should make machines that can build things.
I think the really exciting thing about this technology is that it's a platform technology. And so it doesn't just have one impact at one time, but as the technology progresses, it unlocks new ways that it can impact and help society. So short term, the really obvious outcomes that are available with the technology as it is now, even though right now it is almost as basic and janky as it could be, but it still could be really useful for things like drug discovery, disease modeling, basic science research. But then when you get to the next step and you improve in these areas, it suddenly unlocks the ability to investigate new information processing systems, even forms of potentially of entertainment. If you think about the Tamagotchis that some of us had when we were kids, might be showing my age a little bit, they were huge, they were incredibly popular, and they were so simple. What if we could have a very simple intelligent system that play with that's powered by biological intelligence? It's entertainment and it feels frivolous, but it could be hugely impactful, especially as a gateway to normalize the training of this new type of device that uses this brain cell as its computing substrate. And then longer term, where would the ability to have a system that can learn rapidly, change, move into novel environments be good? Robotics would be one example, but there are others, of course. Accessibility is a core focus of the work that we particularly do at Cortical Labs. We think that the big innovations that happened, let's say in computing, they were only possible because you got universities from being these big inaccessible things that took up a room in a university, and suddenly they were able to be put in the house, and you could have people all across the world innovating, creating new programs. And so we're all about creating the exact same accessibility. It's going to take us some time to get there, but we're starting small, building up cloud-based access for laboratories, pharmaceuticals, and then eventually we want to try and get it out to as many people as possible. We do follow very strict ethical and moral principles in the work. And while there is already a lot of ethical frameworks for a lot of the aspects of the work we do, for example, the stem cell development, the culturing, getting people who want to donate tissue, there's a lot of ethics around that. There isn't an established framework of ethics yet for the more advanced aspects of the work we do. And so that's why we're engaged with a number of independent bioethicists, and we're mapping out ways and frameworks in which to progress this in an ethical way. And the reality is, especially because we're not just academic researchers, we want to get this out there for people to use. It's incredibly important for us to do this. We need to build a technology, but we need to build it in a way that is sustainable and compatible with society and what it can accept. So doing this isn't just because it's the right thing to do, even though it is. Doing so is actually the commercially smart thing to do.
I think the zenith of human civilization in conjunction with technology is going to be when we merge with it. When we, in some sense, turn into technology or technology turns into us, and afterwards we are essentially one big thing. That can happen in a lot of different ways, so we better make sure that zenith is actually a very high and beautiful one, rather than a low and grimy one.